calculating 4x squared. 4x equals 3. So all we have to do is we put in 3 squared. Now this is one of those PEMDAS things. We talk about order of operation, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, adding, subtracting. So this becomes 4 times 9, because we have to square the 3 first. The square is on the x component. It's not on the 4. So it becomes 4 times 9, or 36. So the answer is letter C. Shh. Quiet down, guys. Common mistake here would just say, 12, and you get 144. Notice that's one of the answers. If you multiplied the 4 times 3 and then squared it, you got 144 on that. Things like that. So you got to remember to take the right order of operation on these. That's what this problem was about, order of operation.
So if it was like that, how do you know if it's going to be the whole thing?
What?
How do you know if it's going to be the whole thing?
It would be just on the x. If it was supposed to be 4, now if we wrote it like that, 4x squared in parentheses like that, this would be 4 times 3 squared, or 12 squared, or 144. That would make it 144. But if there's no parentheses, the exponent is just on the x. All right? Common mistake, common error is that 144 on that. All right. So, 17. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 57. N is the smallest integer. What would be the equation used to determine? Well, first let's think about that. If n is the first integer, the next integer would be what? Would be n plus 1. So there's the first integer, there's the second integer. The third integer would be what? N plus 2, and it says the sum, so I just add the 3 up. So letter C would be, so you have n plus 1, plus n plus 2. 3 consecutive integers, because it said the smallest integer was n. Now if they said the largest integer was n, we do this one, it'd be the opposite direction, n minus 1, n minus 2. These would not, it's not 2n because that's twice n. That's not the next integer. 3n is not the next integer. Unless n happened to be 1. But 1 plus 2 plus 3 is not 57. Things like that. All right? Questions on that? Julio, take the chair, go outside, and sit for 10 minutes, please. Oh, excuse me, Sergio. Sorry. Sergio. Right last name, wrong first name. All right. Next one. Which equation is equivalent? So basically what you're doing is you are, now notice all of them end in 14x. So do we have to do anything to the 14x side? No, we're just evaluating this. And so we're going to add basically we're going to do the subtraction. What's 5x plus or minus 14x? Negative 9x minus 2 equals 14x. So the answer is letter A. Again, common mistake. Add them up by mistake. 5 plus 14 would be 19. Either way, or say, negative 5. In other words, taking one of these two. Or, a lot of you like to do this. You like to drop those negative signs. You would have come here, negative 19, but drop the negative sign and answer B. Because a lot of you like to drop these negative signs. This is called transcription error. But you guys do that a lot. You got to make sure that if it's a negative, it comes down with it. All right? How did I get that? Well, what 5x? Well, basically 5 minus 14 is what? 5 minus 14 is Negative 9.
X.
But it's with the x, so negative 9x. Can't do anything to the 2 because that's the only number. Well, that we would solve later on, but that's not what they were asking. They were asking for the equivalent statement. And like I said, 14, if you look at all the answers, we did nothing with the 14. Yes?
Because I solved it and I got the same answer for the 3, so that's how I got it.
Yeah, again, you drop the negative sign. You like to do that.
I solved them.
Wait, but what? There is no
I
negative
solved
sign.
them too.
Negative 9x. The answer is A.
I got it wrong because I solved it though.
That's okay, but that's not what they're asking.
I know, but I thought...
Again, look at the answers. We looked at the answer that we did nothing with the 14. All right. Number 18. Rectangle. Length is 10 inches longer than its width. You know what? What I like to do with things like this is draw a picture. Okay, it says the length is 10 inches longer than the width. Well, if the width is W, what would be the length? W plus 10. Right? Because that's what they're asking you. They're saying the rectangle's length is 10 inches longer than its width. If the width is W, the length is going to be 10 more. W plus 10. So now we need to find the perimeter.
It's 200.
Well, we know what the perimeter, but we want to know what the width, and we want to know the width here. Well, on the perimeter, remember we have W and W plus 10. We have to add them all up. So basically it becomes 2W plus 2 times W plus 10, right? And that all equals 200 because there's 2 W sides and 2 W10 sides. 2W plus 2W plus 20 equals 200.
So it's 4W.
4W, not squared because we're just adding them, 4W. We subtract 20 from both sides equals 180. W is going to equal what? 45? 45. 3 would be 60. 3W would have been 60. So the answer is 45. So again, perimeter, we have the two widths plus the 2 sides. Solve, and we get 45. A very common thing, one, is to only do W plus 10. Shh. Guys. W plus 10, in which case you would have gotten 95 on that. Okay, so the answer is 45. I may need more time to write that down. David, question. Okay. Pardon? Well, 4 goes into 14. 4 goes into 18 4 times, leaves 20. 4 goes into 25 times, 45. If we do the long division, excellent. That's not 4. 20. 20. Thank you. Like that. All right. This one. So it said we're solving this 1p plus 1/6. So they just again, one common error is to forget the 3. to multiply it. It's 3 halves times 6. 3 halves times 6 is to forget to multiply. And then when we solve, I get 2p equals 8, p equals 4. So on here. But if you forgot to multiply and you only made this a 3, you would have gotten 1, which is not even there. And if you got confused, you plug back in 1 and try to solve it, you would find you would not get the right answer. Questions? So David, do you see where you... All right. Number 36. What is equivalent? 3 is greater than x? Well, it's not going to be this one because x is less. Is this equivalent? Yes, it is. That's not. And that's not. So B. You went through, you think, well, x is greater than negative 3 is not the same as 3 less than, or 3 is greater than x. Still not the same. Even though there are some things there, it's not in all cases. So they just flipped it over. Questions? This one, distributing against, yes. No. Only when you multiply or divide by a negative that change the sign. So here we are going to subtract 11 from both sides. Is that going to change my sign? No, it's still going to be less than 5 minus 11 is negative 6. I divide by 2. I am dividing by a positive. No, it does not. It still comes... x is less than negative 3. Does it?